So, friends of mine like John Freeman, 20-some-year-olds, I always tease them. I'm like, look, when you're 45, I'm going to be calling you, and I'm going to ask you, did you train today? How do you feel? You training hard tomorrow? Right? I have this big, long list of 19 and 20-year-olds that I'm going to be calling many years from now when they're 45, and I want to see how they're holding up. I want to see if they hold up as well as I have, right? Because sometimes they look at you like they just wonder, man, how come he's not going hard all the time, and how come he's not pushing it, and why is he training like that, and why is he so careful about who drills on him? Why doesn't he roll with the 250 pounders all the time? Whatever questions, right? 20-some-year-old people have that question because they're just Energizer bunnies, and they're ready to wrestle with gorillas, as I once was. But I always think, like, look, talk to me in 20 years. Talk to me 20 years into your career, or in my case, 31 years in. Talk to me then. And I'm getting ready for a couple of big jiu-jitsu tournaments, and my mindset really has changed, because now when I go into a tournament, I don't think of it as like there's no guarantee. I used to want like a guarantee in my mind. I'm going to win. And I'm going to win. I've got to win. And I just got to feed this monster. I got to win. And always had that at the forefront of my mind. And I did win a lot with that mentality, but I found out that's not the best mindset. So now when I go as I get ready for a tournament, it's about opportunity, not a guarantee. I don't care how good you are, if you're ranked #1 in the world, there are no guarantees. You put too much pressure on yourself. Of course you want to win. Winning is in some people's DNA. I think it's in my DNA to want to win. But I can't have that paramount. So it's about opportunity, not guarantees. It's an opportunity to go there, and all the things, Tammy Musamesi, one of my training partners, talks about this, all the things you work on in training that are working, new techniques you're incorporating in. See how you're making them work in practice now, make them work in a real life situation, right? There's an opportunity for that, to do it when history is watching, when history is actually going to record it. Because you have certain moves. I was talking about the move, the Carreri clutch, which is a move that I haven't seen many people do, and I've showed it to a couple people, and that's a move that you just don't see. You don't see that many people doing. I just saw Renzo Gracie showed it, and selfishly I was like, man, I wish Renzo hadn't showed the world that move. But I do that all the time in training, that Carreri clutch, that boom, taking that forearm and putting in the carotid arteries, and it's a really good transition for me from the back. I call it the Carreri clutch. I'm sure there's other names, and I'm sure it's been around for years and years. I just hadn't seen it, and I just played with it. But so anyway, you hit something all the time in training, but it doesn't really matter. It's so much more gratifying and satisfying to hit in a live match when everybody's watching, and when people are going to erupt, and people are pulling for you, and your son is there watching, and whatever. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I'm just grateful all these years in. I mean, for me, it's the most alive feeling to be there, to warm up, to be doing this again, even after a couple hundred matches, to still have, despite all the injuries, despite the road, despite work obligations and all the things that life throws at us, to still be doing what I love and competing. I mean, that's an alive feeling. And yeah, there's a lot of risk there. There's a lot of injuries that I still deal with. There's significant injuries that I still have to navigate. But that's the fun of it too, right? That's why it means something. There's tough competitors who show up, and I want to face them. I don't want to dodge the best people. I want to face the best people in my age group, and eventually, if I can get totally healthy, I'd like to face the best people at all ages. But that's the fun of it to me, is to test out and see, where are you? How do you match up to go in there and not be 100% and have some injuries that you're dealing with, and then still get the job done. Be like, look, this, I have this injury, I have to work around. But then you go there and you still get it done, right? You have the extra psychological burden of, well, this could go wrong, or this body part doesn't feel like it should. This injury's been nagging. But that makes it so much more gratifying when job done. That's part of the fun of it, overcoming those obstacles and all the things that life throws at you and all the uncertainties on the mat. That's part of the fun of it. That gives it its meaning, and that gives it its value. It is unpredictable. There are no guarantees. And so, like I said to Mikey Musumesi and I were talking yesterday, and talking about conscious mind versus subconscious mind in training. And a lot in the lead up, in the weeks and months before a competition or a tournament, a lot of that is conscious mind. I can have a conversation. I can even grapple. A lot of times when I'm grappling, I'm having a conversation. I'm taking a few seconds to let positions develop. I'm really paying attention. I'm slowing everything down and I'm paying attention. I'm not fighting on autopilot a lot of the time in training. I'm not. I pick my spots when I do. But of course, the closer I get to a tournament or a competition, the more I go on autopilot. So the week of a competition, the week of a tournament, I'm going to go subconscious mind, right? The time for overthinking. You can be an overthinker and be wildly successful in sports, business, etc. But as you get closer to stage time, to competition time, to event time, you want to transition away from the conscious mind and overthinking and just to trusting. You go from thinking. You can think, years out of a competition, weeks out of a competition, but as you start counting down, you're getting closer, 6 days, 5 days, 4 days to a competition. You want to full-fledged go from all that thinking, turn off the overthinking, and just go to trusting. Just trust your trust in your training, trust in your preparation, trust in your jiu-jitsu, or trust in whatever it is, and be ready to go autopilot. Because that experience out there on the mat, your coach is your conscious mind. When they're yelling and they're seeing things, they're your conscious mind. So hopefully you have a good coach. But you, at your best in the heat of battle, in a jiu-jitsu setting, or combat sports setting, you're not going to have a lot of time for conscious mind. You might be able to go off the mat for a second and make a quick observation and say something quick to yourself. Hey, I got to get it going. Hey, I need this. Hey, my opponent is having this bad habit of this. I need to make him pay for that. You can have that quick conscious mind thought, but by and large, overwhelmingly, 95% of that dialogue is going to be subconscious mind autopilot. So anyway, the more I just think about competition, I think it brings out the best in me. In preparing, it holds me accountable for diet and sleep and healthy living and living well. It gives every day meaning because you're preparing for something, because there's going to be a final exam. But for me, it's aliveness, and it's just gratitude just to be here. Every match counts so much now because I never know when it will be the last. I don't take it for granted. I've been doing it so long, and I'm grateful, despite everything that life has thrown at me, to still be standing and still be able to do what I love, and in some ways still getting better, and to still have the camaraderie and be a part of the scene, and to make that walk and to step out there and shake hands and put it on the line. That's exciting, and I don't take that for granted at all. These matches are going to be as gratifying. Every victory from here on out is going to be as gratifying as any, because you just never know when your career's over. I don't take it for granted. Even though I'm doing masters pretty much now, I've done a lot of adult and masters, and I'm gonna stick to masters for a while, but I don't take it for granted. There's so many tough 40-year-olds out there. So again, the uncertainty is what gives it meaning. And to me, I focus on competition so that it's not nerve-wracking. It's just all opportunity. It's all gravy. When I win, when I perform great, I'm really performance focused. I don't sit there and focus on, well, what if, and this, and the uncertainties, and what if they beat me, and how my reputation will take a hit, and this, that, the other. I don't get into that. It comes, but I let it go. It's about the performance. It's about grateful for being there, and it's about trying to take advantage and capitalize on an opportunity. And every time you get to make that walk on that mat and shake that other person's hand and put it on the line and get after it, that's opportunity.